Alright, continuing on with this short series of videos where I'm talking about how I've revamped my workspace to get the most out of my day. Today I wanted to share with you how I store all of my art supplies and how I've laid things out to make this space as efficient and uncluttered as possible. So all the magic happens over here by the window, as I almost always use natural light when I'm working. You can see how this ties in with the rest of my workspace in my full office tour, which I'll have linked at the top. I've made sure that all of the art supplies that I need are right here to hand on either side of me while I'm sitting at my desk, so whatever spark of inspiration might take me at any given time, I always have the means to easily run with it. So we will start over here to the right with this IKEA Drawer unit where I keep my main set of supplies. The top drawer holds a kind of curated selection of all my most used supplies. 9 times out of 10 this is the only place I need to reach for when I'm creating art. So over here I have cutters and folders, scissors and knives and bone folders. I have all the stationery I gravitate to the most: a black biro, a small ruler, a brush pen, a nice quality fine liner, a generic fine liner, mechanical pencil, black pencil and a more rigid brush tip pen. There's a load of different erasers, a small selection of washi tapes and sticky notes, and this section of all my pasting supplies, so regular tape and glue sticks, etc. Over here are a couple of longer rulers, and then this pencil case is ready for anything that I might want to take with me for art on the go. So along with anything else in this drawer, I might take a few of my coloured pencils, a water brush pen and a white gel pen and paint marker for highlights. Then there's this little spray bottle for wetting my palette, and these are all palettes and paint selections, just a select few colours that I think work well and I can always easily go for. There's a mixing colour set of acrylic gouache here, again mixing colours here of regular gouache. I've just squeezed these out into a bead container off Amazon, and that keeps them moist in here, ready to take out with me. I will leave a link below to these, they've really come in handy for creating a stay wet gouache palette. I have my portable painter palette here with WH Smith watercolours and a watercolour palette here that I put together recently with my Daniel Smith watercolours. The next drawer down is where I keep a load of different pens, so all the black fine liners here in varying quality, light fastness, water resistance and nib size, and then there are all my other black ink pens, from brush pens to Sharpies to markers, chisel tips, some other fine liners too. Anything that's got black ink that I don't use on a day-to-day basis. Same over here, I have more fine liners of different qualities, but these are all different colours. So I have a sepia and a grayscale set from Derwent, then a few different colours and a couple of metallics as well. This is where I keep my black biros. I used to have loads of these, but they go missing so easily. Next to that are coloured biros, and then down here are all my pencils, mechanical and not. Lots of different graphite hardness here as well, and obviously the spare leads for those mechanical pencils. I've got coloured mechanical pencils up here with their spare leads, and then up here different punches, so a regular 2-hole punch, a corner punch, single punch, some bulldog clips, a date stamp, long arm stapler and some pins. Yeah, we'll just pretend that didn't happen for now. Also guys, so I realised after the trauma of spilling all my pins I completely skipped an entire drawer, but yeah, that's where I keep other watercolour palettes, including a handmade one sent to me by a lovely viewer, which I'll have their details below, and my coloured pencils. I finally gave in and bought the full set of Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, and I've got a few Caran d'Ache pencils in here as well. Alright, moving swiftly onwards down to the paper drawer. As with the rest of this unit, these are just a handful of my most used papers, the things that I am most likely to reach for. So right at the top I've got a pad of just plain cartridge paper for rough ideas, and underneath that are a few different sizes and brands of watercolour or mixed media paper, from Derwent to Strathmore to Arches, my little bamboo pads right here in the middle, and then on this side are thicker mixed media boards and some toned paper in grey, tan and blue. The penultimate drawer holds all of my gouache paints, a mixture of different brands but mainly Holbein, as I was lucky enough to have them send me their whole set. All of my paintbrushes are over here at the side, and a few pots of casein for priming pages whenever I can be bothered to do that, and then the paints themselves are sorted into metallics, black, white and grayscale, browns, greens, blues, yellows and oranges, and at the back are all my reds, pinks and purples, and I always keep the colour chart that comes with the paints, so at a glance I can always find specifically what I'm looking for. And right at the bottom, my favourite drawer, purely for how perfectly it all fits. this is the full set of Holbein's acrylic gouache that somehow out of the box slots in perfectly to this drawer. And again, I have got the colour chart, which is even easier to use in this drawer because the colour order is exactly the same. Organisation wise, you'll see that most of the drawers are sorted into categories with those acrylic dividers. I'll have a link to each specific divider that I've used just in case you are interested, but I will say that these add up, and I actually ended up spending more on these drawer organisers altogether than I did on the actual drawer unit. So a much cheaper option would be to make your own drawer dividers. They're just as effective, they are limitlessly customizable, and there are tons of tutorials on YouTube to get you started. Alright, moving on to the other side. This is where I keep the supplies that I use a little less frequently, but I still like to have within reach. In here are a load of my lower quality A4 sketchbooks that are great for rough work. In here are a couple of higher quality sketchbooks, and then different papers like this A3 roll of cartridge paper, wax paper, parchment paper, and a few little canvas boards as well. Next to those on the shelf, I have this box here where I keep the spare watercolour tubes that I have just loosely categorised in colours. In the shelf below that, I keep this container with a few pastels, oil pastels, chalk pencils and chalk pastels. And the larger box that you saw below that holds all my markers. So I've got Copics, Molotow paint markers, some of the real colour brush pens, a few Winsor & Newton metallic markers, these fine tip paint pens, I think they're called graphic liners from Derwent, and some Posca pens right at the back there. And finally, this is where I keep a few lined notebooks, some graph notebooks as well, and some coloured and scrap papers. Smaller scraps I keep in these plastic envelopes, and then these 3 boxes here contain some miscellaneous paints that I have in low quantities. So a few oils, the Aquila that I reviewed quite a while back on my channel, and fabric paint. This one has some inks, and this one holds tubes of acrylic paint. I like to keep things as simple, accessible and as pared down as I can. I donate the things that I don't use, and I keep the things that bring value to my art and my work. I know what I have, I know where it is, and that's the best way for me to work. Next time I've got a few tips coming up on how to keep a space neat and tidy, so stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye.